It's a bedhead morning, everybody. Bedhead, bedbeard, waking up. I think everything we have to do is back at the ship. Excuse me. I'm not gonna lie, this schedule is for the birds. I would much prefer a different schedule. But thus is the life of an animal owner with lots of animals. Specifically, cats. The chickens are self-sufficient. I mean, they stay in the chicken coop area. You feed them a few times a day. Let them out, run around the yard from time to time. But the cats go everywhere. And I would prefer to keep the cat versus car incidents to a minimum in the future. So, bringing the male cats in is a necessity. But I'll tell you what, it's rough only doing like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night and then taking naps throughout the day. I would love like an 8 hours worth of sleep. Would be nice. Now, why is the dock suddenly unexplored? That's got to be a bug. Because we totally cleared the docks on our way in.
I always have a backup plan.
Oh, we still never figured out this, did we? Anyway, let's go to our ship. We gotta go back to the voyage. Oh, this is why. Oh, Heinrichs is back. A familiar figure turns to you. Heinrich von Kalox, interrogator of the Ordo's owner. He bows his head respectfully. Lord Captain. Honored interrogator, what a surprise. Did you perchance leave something in your cabin? Not at all, First Officer Wersarian. I'm not in the habit of leaving a trail, but I thank you for your concern. Alright, pleased to see you again, Heinrichs. I'm glad to hear that my presence aboard your ship did not leave you with an unpleasant memory. I hope your disposition won't change once I've explained the reason for my visit. I was able to contact my mentor and report the tragic events that transpired on Riken Minoris. I also received information from my agents regarding the movement and actions of enemies of humanity, including the Xenos that we're assuming were involved in the theft of the star. According to their findings, the threat now hangs over other worlds, this time yours, Lord Captain. By the order of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar, whose duty is to stand sentinel over the Coronis Expanse, the rogue trader of House von Valancius is to take on board the agent of the Most Holy Inquisition and provide escort, support, and deeds great and small that serve to safeguard the territories of the Imperium against its enemies. This decree is effective immediately upon announcement and remains in effect until decided otherwise by His Excellency Calcazar. Adira's whisper is very audible. All I get from it is that ridding ourselves of this snitch won't be easy. Yeah, can't really say no, can I? He studies you for a moment, then ever so slightly, as if not wanting anyone else to see, shakes his head. Alright. What caused this need? This cause is the activity of humanity's enemies, including the cult of the Final Dawn. In my absence, the situation of the Coronis Expanse has changed. I have received an exhaustive report from my agents. This heresy has taken root in the region where the Von Valancius worlds lie. You probably already know about the fate of the industrial world of Kiavagama. Okay. I'm not fond of the methods used by the Inquisition, but I will assist you in any way I can. Alright. I must also deliver this to you. He pulls out a sealed letter. The Lord Inquisitor specified that the contents of this envelope are for your eyes only. I would ask you to read it as soon as you have the time. Okay. Are we headed to the ship, or do you have still business on footfall? we're good for now, but you know, one of the things, yeah, we're good. Man, I'm torn. Like, Heinrichs is a badass. He really is. I almost would rather have Heinrichs than Adira. We'll see though, long term. All right, we got a whole bunch of conversations that we're gonna have on the Void ship. So, why is my phone beeping at me? TikTok. My brother must be awake. Yep. I'll check those later. All right, we got a whole bunch of stuff happening here. Lord Captain, the inspection of the ship's system is complete. The tech priests are reporting the machine spirits are calm and satisfied. Everything is ready for onward travel. Other than an issue you must be made aware of. Cassie makes a quick nervous gesture, adjusting the dormant over her third eye. I've been studying the records left by the ship's vessel's previous navigator. I wanted to double check the route to Dargonis and discovered that it does not match the one recorded in the atlas. It has more than a minor warp fluctuation. The route has been wiped out and can no longer be used for traveling. To make matters worse, I started checking the paths from the atlas one after the other and saw the same thing everywhere. The warp is roiling with an ominous storm, bursting with vivid and screaming colors. It will not hinder our movement, but all previous knowledge is now utterly useless. Okay. We can be certain that problems with the astropathic communication of the Cronus Expanse are no coincidence. There is a warp disturbance in your way, Lord Captain. It's swallowing messages and disrupting familiar routes. That means you need to locate the key worlds of the Von Valancius Protectorate as soon as possible. Janus, Dargonis, and Kiavagama. Charting new routes so they can be reached and restoring control will be the necessary next step. Alright, Abelard, which world should we deal with first? Alright, Agri World first. And we want to bring supplies back to Footfall. Delaying, however, may cost us Kiavagama. All three systems are equally vital. Alright. Any other issues? Alright. I think this is going to be a bunch of conversations at this point because everybody wants to talk to me. Easier to do it this way. Alright, let's talk to Argenta first. She had something to say.
Greetings.
Okay. Tell me more about the strange words of the cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready.
Finally, some
I would
voiceovers.
ask only one thing of you, rogue trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Yeah, it's a really good game, Seth. I knew going into it that it was going to be fun because I really liked Pathfinder, the two Pathfinder games that Owlcat did. But I have been pleasantly surprised. It's a little more complex than I even thought, so it's been really cool. Plus, I didn't know a lot about Warhammer to begin with, so I had to learn a lot. Argenta drops to her knees. Her eyes making the sign of the Aquila. By the way, what is the sign of the Aquila? I don't remember. The two-headed eagle. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature of the warrant. A seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. Alright, she's giving a prayer. See, I don't understand. This is one of the, where I get to talk about the quirks again. A minute ago, we had voice dialogue from Argenta. You would think this, being a really important scene with Argenta, would be voiced, and it's not. It's going to drive me nuts every time this happens. I'm not going to read her prayer. Alright, the truth. The truth. I need to tell you the truth of how I ended up on Von Valancius' ship and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece together everything that way. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase because some of this writing is repetitive. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose, only torment. Welcome to YouTube, John Rhoda. Don't forget everybody who's new here tonight, this morning, not tonight. We are multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube, so don't forget to check out both channels. Alright, found no purpose, assigned to a safeguard that was already well protected after the time warp, and no one was even trying to defile it. That was when Lady Theodora appeared. She became an agent of divine will. I learned that a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. Okay. Never even heard of it. The planet is used by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. Sure. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Argenta, the living saint, who is my patroness. But the blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship, which now served as the resting place for the saints' remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter, blah, blah, blah. The religious zealot stuff is hilarious to me. Imagine when I felt this flash of insight come upon me. The world where St. Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend, and suddenly I, myself named after the saint, come across this information. So I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go on a personal pilgrimage. Okay, what happened next? Defeat. The ship's augurs failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. But I was expecting this. According to legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I was certain I had found the way to the ship, and that's when we were attacked. The words we were heard in the heretic shrine on Footfall, something about ways, doors, please address some lords, the edge of daybreak. Those are the same words as spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished. I didn't connect the events at first, until now. What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search? Now, if they would have found it on their own anyway. Huh. She says, I doubt it. No one was particularly interested other than Conrad, on the other hand. Ooh. And that's why you didn't trust me before. Excuse me. I saw with my own eyes how members of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the arch enemy. I studied you looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. Okay. In any event, the route was lost, but now we have a new lead, the data we collected in the cultist shrine. There must be a way to track them down. Will you help me? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So we're going to go search down for an ancient planet. With a void ship remains. That ought to be fun. Do I get up early? Yeah. Daily streams, 5:30 a.m. Central and 8 p.m. Central. So I do 2 streams a day. So yeah, I get up 5 a.m. every single day, 365 days a year. Alright, next up is, if I'm not mistaken, I think... Oh, I need to read that letter that the... What is that going to be under, I wonder? Other? Notable? Probably notable. Aha! Letter from Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. May the Emperor's faithful forever remain in the light of his favor. Let me first express my condolences on the tragic death of the most honorable Theodora von Valancius. Nevertheless, I was elated to learn that the warrant of the rogue trader had been passed to a worthy and promising heir. Those words are not hollow compliments, but rather the Inquisition's official opinion of your person. As fate would have it, you have taken the reins of the von Valancius dynasty in the hour most dire, when grim portents of dark events to come are surfacing throughout the Coronis expanse. I have been duty-bound to become the first sentinel who sees the approaching threat, and I hereby alert you that it is indeed coming. Our loyalty and resolve will be tested. People such as you and I will become the pillars that will unite the Emperor's frightened children and inspire them to fight back. So I greet you as my dependable ally and assure you of my favor. From now on, you have a trusted friend within the holy orders of the Emperor's Inquisition, and a receptive confidant on whom you can rely. Should the dark times ahead require you to make questionable choices, have no doubt that an incident will be examined in an exceedingly temperate fashion that rules out the most radical forms of judgment. I have faith in the success of our partnership, and thank you for your contribution, both past and future. Alright. Alright, I need to talk to Heinrichs. Where is Heinrichs at? You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission?
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officer's mess.
Tell me more, Heinrichs. Yep. Tell me more. I don't object to you personally, but I found the continuous presence of an Inquisition agent on my side slightly unnerving. Alright. The cult of the final dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Cronus Expanse. Okay. He says, I need to meet with one of my observers in the capital worldview domain. Huh. Why would Ordos Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? Initially, our arrival in the Cronus Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos, but there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I'll be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now I ask you to display humility and patience. Tell me more about the cult. Chaos worshippers. Preaching the end of days, a passing comment to mutant rebellion, onslaught of monsters. The cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune tellers. Finally, they have enough military power. They have 2 ships. Oh, no, hang on, let me reread that. They have enough military power so that the 2 ships we sent after them were later discovered as wreckage. That's not good. After the events of Reich and Menor, I suspect the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. Are you saying that... Are you laying an accusation? This is chaos spread softly, Renfail. The emergence of a cult in one of the rogue traders' planets does not mean the dynasty head of itself is a chaos worshipper, but it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself. Uh-huh. Achilles Scalander on Dargonus. Okay. Alright. What else do you need? Deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany to the surface to determine what the cult is planning. The answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Huh. What do we know about the Drukhari who stole Rikard's son? Yeah, you're just giving me details about who they are. That's fine. But what do we know about them? I don't know why they stole the son. Okay. I can only say that there is no alliance between the cult and the final dawn of the Xenos. It's only simply impossible. Alright, we're going to run a risk of running into more Chaos Space Marines. Yep. Alright. Thank you for reporting. He says you may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I am here to help you fight against the foes you may not be aware of. Alright. Well, he's a little bit zealotous, but it is what it is. Oh, it didn't automatically send me back to the bridge? Boo. Alright, I'll be back in a moment.